One down, one more to go. We do have G2 now versus GODSENT. And before we do get to indulge our Counter-Strike desires with this next 2-game series, instead we're going to go ahead and check out what you guys and what the players, excuse me, have been up to. We're going to go ahead and look at the top 5 plays of the Pro League. Let's see what the pros have been up to before we jump into these ones.
He could be there in time. If Rez can contain and win the kill against Legia at jungle, they certainly could be perfectly timed. He finds one, denies the bomb, looks for the third, and a perfect flank called by your man Hank G.
Finding one more brings it down to just Magisk. There's low time, but he moves in. He stops the plant and brings it down to a 1v1. There's not enough time left for Ricky to move in and plant it again, so the time will expire, and Magisk, with that heroic play, will win the round for Optic.
Edward will find kills. He's got 3 now, in fact. Edward, and Edward as AZ goes in. Good snap reaction to find Simple. Bomb still down on the deck. 2 to peek from heaven. And that is the last 2. Kane, in fact, just says, forget that. Jumps down the ladder and does damage to himself considerably. Still a 1-man advantage. Take that back, and double, and it spades. It's config, finally. This is, Simple's probably happy that everyone else is dead at this point.
Yeah,
he's like, get out of the way. Now I can do it myself. I've got whatever I want I can do. He spots the other toward the dumpster, and then Banks stares both. Didn't get the first shot off, but has the information they're going to be pushing. He's got it down. It's Simple. Much prefers play Gladiator. Everyone else stay in spawn. Simple 1v5. Let's go.
That's all and more you have to look forward to when we do venture into this other week and final week of the ESL Pro League. Some big praise. You were actually hoping to see some Valda stuff. We've got AZ's nice little 1v3.
Look, Alex, at this point in the year, I'm kind of blending all the tournaments that are happening in the last 3 months in my head together. I'm pretty sure I was thinking of Epicenter, which is where we were a week and a half ago.
That's fair, that's fair. But either way, those are the plays that happened exclusively here in the Pro League. And, well, now with Big losing that one, they're Pro League hopes are actually going to be hanging in the balance of their next battle versus none other than RV. 14th and 15th respectively, or 13th, 14th. Gets confusing. Either way, they're going to be battling it out in another series sometime this week, and that's going to be something to look forward to, because not only that, they've only just come here from the Mountain Dew League. They played their qualifying games. I got the opportunity of casting that. We saw them battle, actually. It was GODSENT and Big that managed to get those spots, and now GODSENT doing a whole lot better. They'll be battling G2. Big, they'll be playing Na'Vi for the automatic relegation spot.
The wooden spoon.
And, unlike Envious, who may be struggling in Pro League, but they have at least been qualifying and attending other tournaments, other big LAN tournaments. We don't really see that much from Big, right? Yes, they've secured a legend spot for the major, but, they are having issues qualifying for some of the other big tournaments. So Pro League is like a huge competition for them to play. That's
actually another huge point for them, yeah. This gets even more weight attached to it because there isn't that much else available for them in their landscape.
And another team that's in similar situation, Alex, is GODSENT.
Yeah, they are in a bit of a pickle versus G2 now. Currently ranked 3 in the world, according to HLTV, going up against GODSENT, a team who were, I don't think there's any argument in saying, the lesser of the 2 halves during that Swedish shuffle again and again. It gets a little confusing.
I think the problem is with GODSENT, you still, now we haven't seen them for a while, so we'll see how they look here. I mean, actually at the minor, yes, they also failed to qualify for the major qualifier. Dennis, for the first time, missing out on that in his active playing career in CSGO. And what I wanted to say is the problem is you don't see hope. No. Right? In the way they play, on the T side, it's just still, let's make something happen individually. We need some crazy rounds from, whether Twist or Dennis or whoever, right? And if that doesn't work out, we have nothing to fall back on.
The weird thing is with the Swedish players, they obviously have talent, right? Like, we know that Dennis can light up the scoreboard. We know Twist can do the same. Schneider can have his moments. Freddie B, as someone who's come in and being made to be the in-game leader, is still having impact as a fragger, right? These kind of players... Disco Doppler, he's been, he looked like he was going to be like something very impactful, and then it's kind of tapered off. But these kind of guys can all have impact. I just think the issue is maybe in-game leaders in the Swedish scene are they're just not far between. Yeah, especially with experience, right? Especially like with Pronax dropping off the face of the earth.
I think also stylistically, you look, Denmark is very close, plethora of in-game leaders, but also stylistically, they're very different. You look towards Denmark, not really in-game leaders who run that super loose style. Maybe now Kerrigan with FaZe a little bit because he has the tools for it, but in general, they have always had good structure in Denmark compared to Sweden, which was always like super loose and individual, so might give them something to pick up on.
Yeah, it is. It's always quite jarring when you consider the GODSENT leadership structure and how it has been for a while. They had interim coach come in. RDL was, of course, removed from his position. We were expecting to see, his impact, it didn't happen. Pitta is now in, if I'm not mistaken. No, Nasu, excuse me.
Which is like a good addition, because with Penta, when he was the coach of Penta, the major qualifier, got them to the major, you know, the style they were running was pretty good. Like, it's something that you can see working with GODSENT being, you know, execute heavy early on, and also giving enough room for players to, you know, do their own thing individually. What I see, like, when I say we haven't seen hope for them, I don't mean qualifying for anything. I mean just the way Fnatic started off in Pro League. You could see a different play style. You know, some of the teams like Liquid, when they initially made the roster change, yes, there was a long road ahead of them. Now they've gotten there, you know, a couple of months after. But early on, you could see some of the signs of potential. Whether they live up to it, it's up to them. And for GODSENT, we haven't really seen signs of that potential just yet.
Not as a team, as individuals. Undoubtedly. I've seen, you know, Lecro highlights. I could make a 10-minute Frank movie of him winning rounds on his own in one way or another. I could do the same with the likes of Doppler. I could do the same with Dennis. What have I done?
Fnatic Lecro.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm going through...
He's been back and forth so many times that I can kind of forgive you.
The reason I said it is because there's a huge Lecro with a GODSENT shirt on behind you.
He's trolling you.
I got confused.
He is trolling.
But yeah, sorry. Freddie B is now...
No, it's a confusing situation.
Freddie B, the Dennis, Doppler, and Twist, I can do it all. Even Snyder, I've seen huge stuff from him. So basically, what I'm saying is, as a pack of 5 individuals, they are more than capable of lighting up the scoreboards and lighting up the server.
Here's the problem you have, Alex.
Go.
5 individuals who can all frag on any given Sunday going up against a team that is touted just to be a star-studded lineup who do exactly that. And their star power is much higher than that of a GODSENT, which is the scary thing going into this matchup.
Yeah, fair.
It's just the GODSENT, not the GODSENT, the G2 that we're going to see. You know, we say this time and time again, and it almost feels a little bit harsh in the critique. But which version is it going to be? Is it going to be the one that just seems a bit lackluster, nobody's really clicking? Is it going to be the one where Shox decides to drop 30? Is it going to be Kenny with the AWP? Like, what kind of unit are we going to see coming out? And it's always a question mark. It's almost the same kind of thing we throw at a VP, but to a lesser scale, right? Because G2, they have the potential to be the best team in the world, but they're never really just going to go out in last place. They're always in that middle of the pack.
I mean, that's the real kind of, they're becoming another Virtus Pro where we have to, you know, preface every analysis by saying, well, it depends which team we get. It's the same 5 players, but we just don't know. And I think, you know, Yanko, you could perhaps elaborate upon this, but for the longest time, these are a team that we've always used the word of motivation in terms of, you know, if they're at a LAN event and they know these players, they want to beat these players, they're going to be looking different than they maybe today.
True, and you know, comparison to VP is good, but it's like they have the opposite problem. For VP is they would like always play well as a team, but individually they would, you know, maybe disappoint, and that's why they would drop out of a tournament early. With G2, it's the other way around. You know, they rely so much on their individuals that they have, you know, not enough structure, in my opinion, as a team. So that's where their failings sort of start. And you know, you look towards it. It's obvious they have their own philosophy about Counter-Strike, the force buying, and all of that. And they've had historically success with it, so you really can't blame them for it. I just believe that the metagame has changed, you know, even over the course of this year, let alone over the last year or so, that you really need to have versatility in your play style. You can't just rely on that one style to be able to consistently beat teams like the Astralis, the SKs,
consistently being the word.
That's the big word.
If I can run with that point, you know, about, you know, the force buys are not really seeing a structured version from G2. That's true to a degree, but we were watching earlier in the season when we saw them on Inferno, it was at some tournament or whatever, and they had that really cool top banana retake. Like, they were the first ones that we saw do that. There's other times you see like these kind of the plays and pushes come in, and then you see like cheeky tweets from NK on Twitter, like when we've mentioned it or made a tweet about it or something like that. And he's obviously a driving force behind innovation within the squad. And I agree with Yanko that the way that they approach the game, I don't want everyone to approach the game the same way, because then it's just going to be boring. I want people to kind of reinvent the wheel or come up with new ideas. It's just, to a certain degree, I think when I've noticed the best looking G2, or the one that seems the most focused, is when they take that weird full that second eco, right? And it's not the second eco, the first eco, the second round, the full eco, and then they like ran into the Molotovs that was at Cologne or whatever. They did that on, and then they came out with the Galils, and they win that next round, and they strangle the economy, and they take control, and then they let their AKs do the work. They get the AWP in Kenny's hands. They look very dangerous, and that looks like they have a game plan. I think when they play opponents that they think they're better than, so I think they probably see this in this GODSENT environment, they lose pistol. It's like, all right, let's just force buy. I think we're probably going to see CZ.
Oh, a deagle headshot.
Exactly. And that's their undoing, right? Because this is what I'm talking about. If they don't get their economy up early, if they can't get on top of it or at least make it back and forth and competitive, that's where they're down 5-0. That's where they're down, you know, like 7-2, and it's looking like dire straits for them. And then they have to grind out those wins, which we always critique them for not being able to do.
Just to quickly kind of pick your brain about that, do you, even at this highest level, and we are really at the, you know, we're talking top 10, 20 teams in the absolute world of Counter-Strike. Does that happen? Do players sit there and go, I'm better than this guy, does that influence a buy decision? Does that influence when you're going to be coming into a round? When you're talking about, you know, $750,000 LAN event that's coming up and you have to win this game?
I think there has to be a way that you approach different teams in different scenarios. But if you look at, on paper, a GODSENT versus a G2, GODSENT are definitely going to back themselves, and they're not cocky in their approach, you know, on social media, and, you know, they always give the very political responses and whatever in interviews. But in terms of the way that they approach the game and the style they like to run, that's a cocky play style to me. So I think, you know, you're right. This is do or die right now. G2 have to win these 2 games if they want any chance to cling onto a playoff spot or grab one, you know, and maybe defend their title. Yeah. But coming into this matchup, you want to have confidence. It's just, I just want to see a G2 with a game plan, not necessarily one that's just think they're better and just going to play standard everyday CS, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, I think for them, the problem is also like, when you talk about GODSENT, they had some time with Sunny, but now you're wondering if it's enough or not. And also, we always talk about the authority within the team, whether Nasu will, you know, whether they will listen to him. He's obviously a very experienced guy, you know, been in the best team in the world for a while in 1.6. And I think they could really benefit a lot. But some players are just, you know, not adept at playing a certain style. The problem for GODSENT is they have to adjust, they have to evolve, so to speak. Otherwise, it can just be, you know, hitting that sort of a brick wall where no one wants to be, you know, not even being able to show up at some of these tournaments, qualify for them, let alone reach playoffs or be a contender.
So let's assume that everything you've seen from this GODSENT project, it hasn't happened, and you see now these 5 players on paper, and I ask you, coach, giving them a good structure in the same way that G2 perhaps has with NK, if not more hands-on. That's happening. Can you see growth? Can you foresee growth if you don't let the past influence your decision? Could you see that this team competing?
How far are we talking here? Are we talking about being like cemented within the top 10?
Yes, I'd like to. Will I see them, you know, in playoffs regularly?
No, I think they're always going to be the third fiddle team within Sweden, right? You've got Fnatic, you've got NIP right now, who just have more exciting players and probably more experience and structure within that. Unless they're going to bring in some super fresh, up-and-coming talent with, you know, an experienced player or 1 or 2 experienced players in this GODSENT team, I think they're always going to be in this kind of position. It's hard to see them penetrating deep into tournaments. I just can't see it happening. Yeah,
kind of stuck in limbo. They just have to really, at this point, keep their head above water.
We all know that feeling, don't we, Alex?
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun. In or out of game, being stuck in limbo. With that said, though, G2 on the other side of things, a team I think that we can get excited about, right? I mean, put them head to head. Look at these names. A reminder, of course, if you're unfamiliar with the G2 and GODSENT rosters. For the French, we're going to be jumping in with Shox, KennyS, NBK, Apex, and Body. It always puts a smile on my face to read those 5 in the same team.
True, you just wish you get to read it out maybe more often in some of those late tournament segments, right? I think that's the problem for G2, seeing them recently at Epicenter, right? They had like an amazing group stage, but then in the playoffs it wasn't the same team, and you know, it's extremely frustrating for them as well. Obviously you hear it in interviews and so forth, but that's something that you need to work on in terms of style. What we always talk about, if your style is relying on individual performance, you're going to be inconsistent most of the time. You can't expect your players to deliver every single time based off, you know, freestyle things. Yes, it's not every single thing, oh, just do what you want. There is some sort of a plan, like a general direction, but I just think you need more, because you see it so many times when they don't have the control of the economy early and it's just pure gun rounds and you spread around the map and so forth, and there's not like a clear solution to how to end the round.
So it's finishing this. It's not opening. That's never going to be a problem with G2. It's the closing of rounds that Yanko wants to see tightened up, as we are going to be preparing ourselves to jump on in. First map is Inferno. You've already seen a bit of a sneak peek, but we're going to go ahead and give you the whole hog. Let's jump in then. G2 GODSENT. The map Inferno. Let's check in with your casters.
I do love the whole hog and a good spit roast as we get ready to jump in indeed. GODSENT G2? I think G2 has to be the favorite, surely.
Oh, absolutely. GODSENT just played NIP over in another league. ECS. I'm not sure what else mentioned. Whatever.
Over there.
They played it over there, and they drew 1-1. So they're coming out swinging today. That's a matchup that's obviously a derby, but yeah, G2 certainly the favourites. Maybe GODSENT can maybe get to double digits, make it a good game, and don't get completely wrecked. G2 have been an interesting team, right? They had a really amazing start at Epicenter. They like completely stomped the group stage. It looked amazing. It looked like they were destined to win it. Then they got to the playoffs and things got very shaky indeed. They came third place over Astralis, which was a good finish for them, but overall, I think a disappointing tournament considering the form they started in, right?
And not the first time that they've done that as well. It's Star Ladder at the, I think, March last year. The last time we were in Kiev. It seems crazy. We usually go to Kiev like 5 times a year. We went there like once this year. They were dominant. They were incredible in the group stages, in fact, and then crashed as soon as they reached the playoffs. In fact, they lost to FaZe in a 3-map series in which they lost all 6 pistols.
Yeah, that wasn't great, was it?
No, not really. But it's, yeah, we'll see how it responds. I know that there's been some internal discussions with G2 over practice and play style and varied opinions, but we'll see how they make it all come together. I think they're going to have to start digging deep on this team going into the major cycle again.
Get into it, shall we? There's going to be 2 smokes available on the G2 side. The pretty classic nades at the top of Banana to push back any aggressive CTs at the very start. Then the bombs heading towards the Palmers. This is looking a little bit interesting from G2 here. A bit of a fake towards the B side. They smoke CT spawn. It's up to Shox and Body here to set things up and see what they can do, if anything, to keep players or force a rotation. There's actually 3 CTs towards the B side. This could go horribly wrong as Body opens things up. They go through CT spawn. This is a wonderful strategy, and it's working out very nicely indeed. Disco left to defend the A side by himself. He does a very good job to find 2 kills, at least make this round a possibility. Schneider with the kits and a 3-on-2, and it's going to be Disco Doppler that at least somewhat gives him a chance.
Crossfire set.
Here we go.
And they walk in. Schneider gets the shot immediately onto Body. And Shox will stay inside of the pit. He goes to pit 1 rather than in the backside. And that dodges out a nade. It also gives Kenny a chance to peek, knowing that the nade was thrown. And Schneider goes down. It's onto Dennis. Dennis with a pistol. Is Dennis the menace? But he's gone.
Well,
I knew you were going to say something. I took a guess. I should have said dead because you're morbid.
It's going to be a lovely round there from G2. That was very well done. You saw the smokes deployed towards CD spawn, the flashes over, keeping 3 players on the side of the map, finding the 2 opening kills. And we found ourselves going towards CT spawn, and Disco Doppler did a good job. He made the round a possibility. Dennis definitely capable of winning those 2 versus 1s, but G2 taken down, and not a single rifle brought to round number 2. I hate this. This actually makes me feel a bit ill. And it could go horribly wrong. Twist final first kill. Can only get that, but still a 4-on-4. Damage being inflicted across the board. Shox down to 40. Same story for Disco Doppler. And I don't know why he wouldn't bring a single rifle here, but MBK is showing me why as he gets it done. They're going to stay together as a 5-man wrecking machine. And that should be the round done, as Dennis and Freddie B will be the last 2 alive. No kits. Freddie B with no armor, interesting enough. And he might just get 1 cheeky kill here. That's Dennis. Like we said, he's going to be very, very good at the pistols. But Kenny's not bad either. He'll get 1. Dennis gets his 2nd of the round. He'll be taken down in the end. So the SMG's working out for GT there. They give up 3 kills short, but they didn't have a single rifle. They win the round. That's all they're really worried about. And we'll go to round number 3, where it'll be the full eco for GODSENT. So let's talk about this team a little bit. Twists, been an interesting player over the years. Certainly one of the most promising AWPers from Sweden. Seems to be finding his form once again, but GODSENT has been such a turbulent project through its existence that I'm not excited just yet, but this is one of the best looking, I guess, iterations of it so far. With Dennis coming in, but I'm not sure. The fact that he didn't make it through like the minor system or anything, that was obviously a bit disappointing.
I think they are underwhelming right now. There's nothing that makes me go, ooh, when I see them. Again, Dennis brings skill, but I don't think he alone is a hard carry.
I remember he tweeted something like really depressing. Like, it's like, well, this is the first time in my professional career I won't be attending even a minor or a major or whatever it was. But like, it obviously, like, he's frustrated. I think that the team, when I watch them in Pro League, it seems like there's signs of life and they're getting better. That's what I mean. This iteration of it is looking good, but the results obviously haven't delivered as of yet, as we feel. The kill for G2. It will be GODSENT to strap out 1 with the silence USP. That's probably all they get in this round. I'll tell a lie. Dennis manages to find, I think, 4 pistol kills in the last couple of rounds, so that's not too bad. He'll save a Mac 10, and they'll have a UMP on the other side of the map. Lucky for Dennis there, completely flashed, taken down. The bomb's going in towards B. And that's another round of the board. So we have got a bit of a bonus situation. I guess not so much really. We don't have the SMGs left, but GODSENT force buying in that second round means they're going to be weak, right? They're not going to have everything they need. They probably have the AWP for Twist. He wouldn't have got armor in the second round, but they won't have necessarily all the utility required. Head armor not so much a factor now. If we kept all those SMGs up for G2, that would be a bit of a problem. But it should be okay. It's only really worrying when they save like all their SMGs and you go into that first gun round and you haven't got helmets, you haven't got defuse kits, and they stay as a 5-man pack and it's completely execute towards particular bombs very quickly and try and take you down one by one. But this should be a pretty traditional gun round. Schneider trying to save the UMP here. Not too fast if he dies, just wants to get one more kill if possible. UMP certainly viable in the gun rounds as well. Like I said, the AWP is going to be a bit of a struggle. Actually, Twist did force buy in that second round. He couldn't even afford a glass cannon. Here we go. Schneider will have all the grenades and a defuse kit as well after saving the UMP. We'll go to the first gun round here. I don't expect anything super fast-paced from G2, considering they didn't save any SMGs, but we'll see. Yeah, towards Banana for now, by the looks of things. Double nades.
Nothing like a good old double nade. Twist doing the Henry G. Gets killed by the man who named himself after Kenny G.
That's Kenny G.
Kenny G. Kenny G.
Isn't he the saxophone player?
No.
I think there's a saxophone player called Kenny G.
We'll get the research team on.
But, yeah, that's Rushley. That's George Michael. Okay, stop. We got to cast a game.
Kenny takes down Henry's spot. Not Henry that was killed, but it's Twist gone, and it's a 5 versus 3. You're already looking it up. As Freddy tries to swing out, Body gets the shot back on the AK-47. It still gives the lead with a 4-0 score. I used to work at a camera store, oddly enough, and maybe this was foreshadowing that we were destined to be together. That camera store I worked at was called Henry's. I'm not even joking. It's a camera store. It's a chain in Canada. You can look it up. Henry's Camera. And yeah, now I work. I know, right? I don't know why we haven't discussed this sooner. And every year, as soon as Halloween was over, they'd put on Kenny G Christmas music nonstop.
Yeah, so you're right, American saxophonist, and I stand corrected. He was a valid referencer.
Thank you.
Well, he wasn't, but it worked. you knew his name.
Yeah, I pulled it back. Saved.
Well, that was a very quick round. The boost coming in from GODSENT. It's a boost that's very obvious these days. Like, it worked at the very beginning of this map when this version of it first came out, right? But then as soon as that smoke gets deployed, the AWPers don't really have many options on the C side at the very start of the round. They're just going to look for that and wait for that smoke to go down. If nothing comes up, that's fine. But they'll look at the top of that boost, and first kill came in, and they just completely unloaded towards the B side as soon as that happened, and then back towards A. Bomb got planted. All the kills coming in their favour. 4-0. And Disco Doppler to try and save the M4. He's at the bottom of second middle right now. Actually, not at the second middle. He's actually behind the door. I kind of like that. All the guns sticking out, though.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was going to say.
It's a little bit cheeky. Showing a bit of ankle.
A little suggestive.
Yeah.
Well, I think he'll be okay. There's no one that close. If they did go to Boiler and look down, they might be able to see it and spray him, but then he just drops off and takes the fight. Oh, it might happen. No, they ran right by. Didn't see it. Shocks. He can see it, actually. I think he did realize late.
Yeah,
he started to move his crosshair.
Enhance.
Yeah. The CIS. Enhance. There's the... Oh, that's pretty good when you see it from his angle, isn't it?
I was doing more of a blade or anything.
I haven't actually seen it. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry.
It's a lovely little film. I haven't seen the new one, but... Round number 5, and we're going to see a force buy, I think. No, not all in. It's going to be GODSENT with the maximum loss bonus next round, so they'll get CZs, 5-7s, no kits. Obviously, the saved M4 as well. Definitely a round that could yield some success here. It's always these sort of rounds where I say, well, probably not. They're the ones that work out. The CZ, a little bit of cruel mistress these days. 5-7 dropping off dramatically. Nice to see Twist still repping the old guns.
Yeah. The old guns. Dennis trying to get it closer in the CZ-75. Does have Body already around the corner. Matter of trying to find the gap correctly. Smoked off. Gets aggressive. Wants to try and attack while the gun's not at the ready. But unfortunately, there's more than just Shocks on the other side of the corner. Even still, Shocks gets the kill on his own. Kennedy G. Gonna start working up. Matt the Atrium. Good find. Immediate onto Twist.
5-on-3. Freddy B, Disco. trying to do what they can with this one. Schneider holding strong at the A side, but maybe not for too long. He'll go down, and that will be it. It was a decent attempt. They got a bit of damage inflicted, but ultimately a bit of a walk in the park there for G2. It's just Freddie B now with the CZ on the other side of the map. He comes in towards the arch. He will be pincered in eventually by Apex if he decides to fall back, but not really much to save here. Sure, the body armor is something, but he's going to have maximum loss bonus next round anyway. And it doesn't look like GODSENT will be turning up just yet, but it's still very early days. 5-0 looks scary, but you can get a few 3 rounds in a row to stabilize things, but the money's starting to get out of control now for G2. They've got like 5 players, well, I should say 4 players, like hovering around the 10k mark. There's only Apex that's down at about 5k, but he survived that round, so that's not a problem. M4's coming out. Still not with the AWP on the CD side. That's where we know Twist does his best work. He's currently on 1-5.
Yeah, 1-5 is not exactly his best work, though, is it?
No.
Disco Dublin will walk out to top mid, and in doing so gets taken. Well, actually, not even really involved in it, to be fair. He didn't actually go. He cowered away. The rest of them went down in front of his eyes. They'd only get the 1 kill back on Shocks. Kenny S set the difference apart. And now it's MBK to try and work up toward the apartments at A. There is no apartments at B, but I give you the redundancy anyway, as Disco Doppelin will back off and realize, hang on. Didn't even get a chance to realize, honestly, that there is a lot of people behind him as NBK gets the kill. Smoke naturally appears in front of Library. It gives Body a chance to cross plant. And Schneider and Dennis will stay at the A site, or rather the B site, the opposite of A.
Dennis. Oh, looking at 6s and 7s now. Their teammates get completely trashed on the A site, and not really much they can do with the retake. Incendiary smokes to save. Maximum loss bonus, saving 2 rifles. Still means they can buy into the next round. They have to save both, though. If they only save 1, it's not really like they can do much with it. They'll still get $3,400 on top of their save weaponry. That's if they do save them. Flashbang is so perfect, though. Schneider somehow gets away with it. Double kill coming in. There we go. Dennis does probably the first impressive play we've seen from the GODSENT side, and won't be bringing a round in, but at least he survives, sends them packing, and like I said, those 2 kills especially, he gets an AK now, he gets a bit of extra cash, he can drop an M4, same story for Schneider, and they can just about get things together here. Twist will go down to the shotgun. I haven't seen him on the AWP yet, that's a massive problem. I don't know why he force bought in that second round. Like, that's something I'm so annoyed at that hasn't been eradicated yet. Like, still players like Guardian still forced by in the second round, and then it means he doesn't have the AWP. You've got your world's best AWP on your team who can't get that weapon out to get things off. And sure, like, he gives you a slightly more chance of winning that second round force buy, but it's just not worth, in my opinion, the best of ones. Like,
you say that as though it's someone else's decision other than Kenny's. What if he made the decision?
Not Kenny, I'm saying Dwight Twist.
Oh, sorry. Oh, right, sorry. You were speaking about Guardian, though. And then
yeah, there's an example, like, top players, like, will constantly do it. And I think it is their choice. If you get told to do it, it's like, no, I need to. That's the best AWPers. People are assertive, their own man. Like, they don't take orders. They tell the in-game leader where they're going.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't take orders either, Hank.
Yeah.
You can't tell me what to do.
It's going to be a comeback from GODSENT there. Not too bad at all. Freddie B doing a fantastic job after saving the 2 weapons that do force buy into it. And they make it work. It's those 2 kills from Dennis that lead to a victory here. It's 6-1. And GODSENT, they're not in danger of a complete reset here. As you can see, they do have money left over. Pretty convincing round there, but still need to avoid the reset. It's going to be Dennis that will be with the AWP this time as he heads towards the B-bomb site. Twist, known to be a player that sometimes lacks confidence. He has a really bad start to the game. Might not necessarily want to be wielding the AWP just yet. 6-1. GODSENT finally arrive. Boost coming in from Schneider. I like this. It's a nice little open spot. Can't be seen from middle, of course. Just watching the the middle position, while his teammate patrols top of mid. And looking behind him as well. Just get a bit of a tough time there. But it's fine because obviously they can see a player walking around who commits towards the quad side.
Dennis waiting with the flames engulfed in front of him. Body is going to be first point of contact, you'd assume, but tough to say whether or not Dennis peeks or not. I'm so sick of people doing that. I'm sorry. It never really works.
Which one?
Just throwing the pistol like that,
yeah,
time and time again.
It's just like, if an AWP is there, it will catch his aim a little bit. If you do face, like, there's a chance he'll miss the shot. It's not necessarily to bait out like a pull of the trigger.
No, of course, but the flash turnaround, I mean, it's makes it a sound cue. Yeah, there's all kinds of things. Anyway, I'm seeing it more and more again lately. Like once in a blue moon, maybe. As Disco Doplin shuts down Body, it's Apex that gets back through the smoke to get the return shot and an important kill because it starts to open access to the site by Quad. Snyder, the next one in position to shut them down, will climb up onto the box in the corner.
They didn't really strike here at all, G2. They had the chance to really pin to the bomb site and lock it down before the rotations came in. Now they've given them a real chance, and now they're getting locked off by the flashbangs. Freddie B and Dennis missing shots, so that was key, but time still on their side. Bomb will be planted, but Kenny S hitting shots. It's Dennis now. He is good with the pistols, but maybe that's not the right range to use it. 2 versus 1 up against Kenny S as well. Taken down. And this could be the harsh reset coming in. It got a little bit dicey there for the French side as they committed towards the quad. Waited quite a long time now after finding the initial couple of kills. Allowed rotations to come through, but Kenny S not missing a beat there. And it will be 7-1. We've got about 3K on average per player for the GODSENT side, and there will be buy into this? Partial buy, okay. Twist goes all in. Schneider with the UMP. He had a bit more residual cash. So Twist has wrecked his money again. And Dennis will be forced to sit by the broken wall. He gets burned and it's nothing for it.
Tries to get aggressive, but the AK is staring him down, won't allow him to do much at all. And as they clear the top of Banana, they'll start to encroach upon the site directly because they've gotten it secured. Twist has rotated. He might get baited by Freddie B, who's waiting for them to walk in. And Body slides underneath. Good shot, good response. Does work out as they get Twist. And old Freddie B will jump across to the oranges 1. They've sold this entirely.
Well, you've got to take a bit of a gamble when you've got the pistols, right? So they
Don't prefer gambling myself.
They do take the bait, hook, line, and sinker there. Should be a very convincing round now for the G2 side. This wasn't the forced buy, but Twist definitely took his money down to absolute 0. It's interesting he would do that. He's on 2 for 8 right now. Maybe just trying to shake himself into confidence. He gets a couple of kills with the Deagle, but now he's got $0. He'll get 1,900 into the next. They can probably drop him a weapon from Schneider on now 4,400 with that kill coming in. Well, they certainly can't win the round, but trying to take down any G2 players they can with the bomb blast here.
Kenny staring down the wall. Has Disco Doplin trying to peek out. Shadow shows. Might have pulled Kenny's attention too soon because he overreacts to the flick. Either way, G2 trying to go up 8-1. 8-1 T-side Inferno. Yeah, that's not bad.
Well, take down Kenny with the bomb blast here. He knows it. So that's not too bad. They managed to take a AKs from this one. Not a UMP. Schneider goes down, so that actually helps out the money situation. Like we said, Twist fully invested into that round. On the partial buy, they'll be okay. They dodged a bullet in that respect. So an AWP will be dropped, presumably for Twist. It's got to be at this point. There we go. For the first time in round number 10, we have to wait double digits before the main AWP of the team brings out that weapon. That's just an example of a really bad half in terms of the economy management there. We'll go into this one. And nades deployed towards Banana. Too much damage there to be Twist this time towards the boiler room. The first rounds we've actually seen a full buy from GODSENT here. AKs in the hands of Freddie B and Disco Doplin. You can take more advantageous angles and potential of the one tap. Going toe to toe with the terrorist instead of having the double dink of the M4.
Kenny starts to get in position with Apex where they can control middle. Crossfire set it toward B. Naturally, no deep position on Banana. They've been struggling to get such map control on the CT side. And as you say, one of the first gun rounds for GODSENT, they've got the man advantage. No need to get aggressive and give it away because Apex down is a gift. A gift from the heavens, Hank. Either way, as they continue on, Shocks, ooh, somehow baits out a miss from Twist. As he turns his attention immediately toward the archway, knowing that missing the shot's likely going to funnel them away, and he can't get there in time. Missed a second as they got through the arch. Now it's a split toward the B side, and there's no response as of yet from the A players. In fact, they're still anticipating that it could go the other way, that it could come back through the arch and toward the site. And by the time they realize it, it's too late. Body and Shocks find the kills. It's an open site. This came back from a man down.
Yeah, exactly. and the retake begins. But look who's waiting in the library. That's MBK. He'll shut down any sort of rotation through CT spawn. He'll realise no one's coming through library in the next 5 seconds or so, and he'll call that's going to be absolutely clear. So we do have a chance for the retake here, as we've got Shoxy though, ready and waiting. The teamwork, it's just very basic stuff that's shutting them down now. GODSENT flashed off, taken down. They'll have to try and save the orb once again. It's Twist to find his first kill with the AWP. Will he get a second? He will indeed, but a nade to the face sends him packing there towards T-spawn. And Schneider looking for some exit frags. That's been the story for GODSENT throughout this first half. Just losing the round, getting decent kills in terms of keeping G2 a little bit more modest, but not getting rounds on the board yet. And money in the bin once again. But they do save the AWP in the M4, I would say at this point. Probably worth considering the force buy around them. Like 3 players around the 2.8k mark. And Dennis available to buy an M4, so that's fine. He'll buy it up. Famous dropped, so it's not the worst buy in the world. We're into round number 11. Need to start getting something on the board, though. Apex brings out the MAC-10. You've said that's a weapon that's grown in relevance in terms of...
it has.
And it's a perfect time to bring it out as well. Run and gun, 4 players without helmets, and Rush Banana. Get in there, boys. And Apex leading the charge as well. And he doesn't manage to make that MAC-10 do much. It's going to be Twist. Finally showing us what he can do with the AWPs. He takes 2 shots, finds the bomb as well. That'll call for a rotation. Surely G2 can't recover this situation. We have to convert this.
Well, they'll start their attempt in doing so. Bomb down. Kenny. Well, okay, after you, sir. Not all at once. We'll go to get the bomb back.
Oh, this could all fall apart. Comes out of disco here. Needs to get at least 1. If he gets nothing... Oof. Okay, he gets 1. That should secure the round here, and the double. Well played by Disco Doplin. Didn't overcommit, waiting for them to fall back. It's a 4 versus 1 with Kenny S at the helm of the collapse itself. He's pretty far removed from the situation, but can't find the bomb right now. Upgrades to an AK if you will. Close range now. That's the orb again. Oh, goodness. Need to be very careful. This player goes down a banana. It could all unfold. But Schneider coming in with the flank. Second round on the board for GODSENT. 4 players surviving as well. It was a fast approach there from G2, knowing the money was still going to be quite low for the GODSENT side. It was the MAC-10 that comes up first, as you can see there. But nice job by Twist. His second secures the round. It's like, well, we've got the bomb down now. We've got time to play with it. We know they can't fake us out. And Twist. Finally, that's what we wanted to see him on the AWP. That's what he's known to do. AWP. Yep. And he didn't get it to round number 10, and that's the problem. These teams need to realise when you're the underdog, you need to focus on the economy and the utility, and you're only going to win through your strategies and stuff. Like pound for pound, G2 do outskill this team across the board. There's no point dancing around that fact. And why you don't play with your strategies and your full buys is beyond me, but there we go. Finally, everyone's in their correct role. Double AWP set coming out. Dennis can be a very proficient AWPer. I'll see what they can do here. Round of 12. Need to find at least 4 or 5 rounds on the board here.
So, ops either side. Dennis, I should say 2 ops on the CT side. Dennis and Twist. And Kenny S, naturally, on the G2 approach. Nades go down. Molotovs go toward Banana. Now they're getting a little bit more aggressive from the GODSENT camp to try and take position. Molotov will keep Freddy locked in behind the bags. They've got to at least keep one of the 2 ops close enough by to potentially, at the very least, get a trade off of Freddy's impending death. Because, unfortunately, he is caught out with low HP. I think he can transfer back into the site now. Probably should do. Smartly does. Goes for the boost. Low HP. Give him position to try and find one and drop away. Might be one and done. It might be better. You never know. Meanwhile, Kenny goes back across the map to see what's going on at A.
He does indeed. Taking some damage, but still with 5 men available. GODSENT. 3 players towards the B side of the map. You can see one flirting between CD Sport and Arch. And Shoxy pre-firing towards top and middle there. Doesn't find anything just yet, but still with 3 smokes, flashbangs, and Molotovs. Looks like a BXQ coming in. It's Shoxy to try and show some presence towards the A side of the map. Go towards apartments maybe. If he gets 1 pick, that's going to force a rotation, and then his teammates will be given the all clear to make their way towards B. But they're going to go in regardless. Smokes deployed, pretty standard ones. Dennis with the pressure now. It's the first shot, repositions, and he could actually shut this round down single-handedly, but not meant to be. NBK. Oh, goodness, Freddy, that was your chance there. You got to look at the old ammo as he gets taken down. Fires 5 bullets, that's all he had. But Twist still with a chance here, but misses a key shot. Might recover the PT-50. I have no idea how he was allowed to recover that situation. But a 3 versus 1. It's Schneider with the M4 in hand. Money thrown away again. They're going to have to force buy around this, presumably. He can't win this round anymore. Bomb will be too far gone. He's in CT spawn. NBK probably can't believe his luck. The fact that Freddy B got boosted up with 5 or 6 bullets in his AK. Missed the first shot, still had time to recover it, but then had to reload, of course. It's all falling apart at the seams for GODSENT here. Every time they win a round, they get fully reset. One player survives. But a 10-2. They might as well force it. They've got 2 players at the 5k mark, so they might as well see what they can do. Drop an AWP, maybe 2, and go for that. Dennis got 1 kill on the final execution there, but if he gets a second, I'd say that round's possible. But let's have a look at the final buy. UMP for Freddy B, Dennis on the CZ, or like we said for Twist. He needs to work aggressively. He can't just sit back at the emo area.
Disco.
Brave.
Very, very brave. As he does get sprayed, but not taken down. He gets tagged up a little bit. Just a wee bit down to 77. Schneider's still, as he poses smoke down at the end of the hallway, trying to bait them in. Not only does he isolate the boiler, it's a sound cue of defense, which may have put them on the pounce. On the prowl, I should say, on the pounce. We're in between the words somewhere, but they don't bite it. They don't go after it, and Schneider's managed to get away, stay inside of the site as he realized they were never going to do so. Good movement from Freddy. Slides up. He'll cover off tree, and Twist gets himself atop the wall to see what he can see.
Full execution here. Look at the precise smokes. It's looking very good for G2, just sniffing out every area of the map. But Disco Doppler, once again, he holds strong. 3 kills with him. Fantastic hold here. And GODSENT looking for the clean sweep. It was the force buy, and one that could find them a great amount of success. MVK left in the 5 versus 1. He has won these at Inferno before, so watch out. There's the first, but he gets dinged up in the process. That should be the round done, but he knows he can find a couple of kills. He does ruin the economy, but Twist gets the information that he's low HP, finds a shot, and it's Disco Doppler, the hero of the round, in the pip. It was a perfect execution there, and you can see them checking the area as well. Not the most impressive in terms of like sick frags from him, but just staying alive for so long and timing it to perfection. That's really well played. 10-3. And you can see that G2, although they've won this amount of rounds, they've been kept so modest. Like, they are down to just pistols and a couple of AKs here. So even though they've been resetting them, every round has been close. They've been getting the exits. And it's GODSENT. And they could find the 10-5 here, which isn't the worst half in the world.
Not the worst half of the world. Twist takes down an immediate shot to Shock's Apex and NBK. He can do the same. Dennis follows up. This is looking good for GODSENT. If they could pull this back to 10-5, would be, I would say, much better than I expected halfway through this. Halfway through this half. I always hate that phrasing, but you understand the point. Kenny has to back off in a 1 versus 5 you were mentioning. NBK's chances of winning one of these, well, maybe Kenny could if he had the op. I oddly favor him on that over top of the AK. Does manage to catch out Schneider in a peculiar position. Reads well that he was in fact on pursuit, but it won't make a difference. It's a redundancy in the fact that the round has still gone the way of GODSENT.
It has indeed. They've managed to bring this back to at least a winnable situation now. 10-5 looking likely, as G2 will have to force buy around number 15, of course. Looked like a masterclass in CS from them, but force buy working out for GODSENT with some saved weaponry. They have been smart in that sense. They've known when to save a couple of M4s, and G2 maybe a little bit overzealous when to hunt them down, and actually end up losing their bank accounts towards the end. Oh, Twist trying to find some confidence now, pushing towards second mid area. Almost guaranteed that kill, but jumping around the corner, that was smart, and Shoxy capitalizes as well. Schneider caught out there, 5-on-4. They're giving up a rifle and a man advantage as well.
The man advantage. That's an important integral aspect which you'd like to keep, especially on Inferno. And they give up a gun to Apex. As mentioned, Twisted therefore had to fall back, and they'll leave a solo ank toward ank, short for anchor, for those of you playing along, at B. And that's Freddy. Fitting. He gets his own bomb site. Still not quite on the level of Dust Moret, though, who has his own map.
That's true. Don't know how he managed that.
Must have a particular set of skills. Yeah, that's true. He's even on to the second one. Particular set of skills, Henry, I think.
Well, I'm sure you know all about that.
been known that in my darker moments, I like to call it fraternizing with the enemy. As Disco waits inside of the pit, tries to spray it down, but getting good response as they walk in. The pistols make it pay as Body gets around the box, and it's Dennis next in line. Suddenly, we're down to a 4 versus 2, and Freddy and Twist have to back away, but they can't afford to do so. It's round 15. They got to get aggressive. Twist, he goes aggressive on his own, even while Freddy's smoked off. He's trying to still get through the smoke on the other side. In fact, he's just holding pit, seeing if Twist can make any movement that is favorable to him, and someone trips over themselves and ends up revealing as Freddy starts to go now. Twist hits a good shot. It's on the Deagle, though, not the AWP. Oddly enough, he goes for another, finds that as well. Oh. Unfortunately, he lost his teammate. He still has this down to a 1-on-1. 4 HP, has to go desperate on the AWP, finds Body, but can't land it. My goodness, it was close.
Can you imagine that no-scope connects? That would have been absolutely nuts. But it wasn't meant to be. It was impressive, and the 4-on-2 does go against GODSENT. So what looked like a devastating first half actually wasn't that bad. Sure, it's 11-4 still, but that can be a lot worse. Had some decent rounds there. They managed to save weapons and break the economy of G2 down towards the end, but there we go. G2 still with a massive lead, but still a game on our hands here. We'll find out how it concludes after the break.
Time to get hot and heavy. We're on Inferno, and things are looking rather warm on the G2 side of things. It's a bit frigid for GODSENT. They only get 4 rounds on the CT side. Yeah,
it's where G2 switch over to the CT side now, and that's where they're quite scary as well. Kenny S will be a lot more deadly with the AWP. He was pretty scary in the first half. We'll see if GODSENT can get a pistol here and start the campaign on the terrorist side. There will be 1 smoke available, 1 flashbang and HE as well. Dennis with just the armor. No utility for him. There's 5 players towards B, but 3 CTs ready and waiting. They certainly have the advantage in terms of the weaponry at the very start. Dennis to lead the charge here. Smoke goes in. And MBK doesn't get anything on the entrance there. So a chance here for GODSENT as they make their way in, but MBK to strike first. And a little trifecta of doom here. It's going to start working out quite nicely here. G2 find all the headshots. Some team damage coming in, but GODSENT recover. And we have 1 player ready and waiting. That's Body and CT spawn. The bomb should be planted here. And down it goes. Wow.
Wow, Henry's impressed. Disco and Twist. It's on the Body in a 1 versus 3. He does have a kit, but he doesn't have the armor. He was the one that was buying the kit for the retake early on. Well, now he's got to do it all himself. Good damage deployed already toward Dennis, but not enough to get the kill. In fact, I take that back. It was rather inconsequential in the damage. It was only 20 HP lost. So the round GODSENT's way.
Well. It's G2. Let's get the first 2 frags. MBK, I thought he'd done enough. They had 3 players ready and raring to go. It was hardly the most detailed execution there for GODSENT. 1 smoke going in, flashbang over. Not so much finesse as they made their way to the bomb side as well, but managed to recover it. Look at those bets way odds as well. No one's expecting GODSENT to pick this one up. So maybe now's the time to get involved. If they're just won the pistol, you never know. Either way. Round number 2. With CZs out, the Deagles. No force buy from G2. They're getting better and better at the understanding of this part of the game as well. It's the best way to just make sure you guarantee victory in these best-of-1 sort of matches. Get the Deagle out, sure. If you get a final 1 Deagle, it's unlikely you get a load of bullets coming your way. Oof.
Henry's got all sorts of little superlative onomatopoeias coming out of his mouth today.
Whoosh.
Oof.
Wow.
Oof. Wow. Bish, bosh, whatever.
Bish, bash, bosh.
Sorry to assault all of the British people around the world who say that on a regular basis.
I don't think there's anyone that does.
11-5, about to turn into a 6 for GODSENT. Apparently some no-name that looks like an access code is streaming, Hank. But it must suck to be so desperate to spam in chat to get people to try and watch you.
Hey, you got to hustle, man. It's rough out there.
I guess. That's what must be similar to standing on a street corner, to be honest.
5 players survive for GODSENT. G2 can't really get much done there, but that's fine. They've got this huge lead as it stands. It's round number 3. Not really much what happened here. It's one of those more quiet rounds, ones we don't talk too much about. Nothing really to dissect. No nades purchased. Maybe some HEs. That would have been an idea. Chuck them down banana or bottom or middle. Give it a go. But a couple of flashbangs and some upgraded pistol. A couple of Deagles, 1 P250. We'll get into it. GODSENT in recovery mode right now. Good news of G2 is after not forced by in the second round, I do have utility and the AWP of Kenny as well to work with.
Disco checks quickly in behind the sandbags as they'll further pressure onto Banana, but a good timed flash from the CTs, and now they'll start to pursue back with pistols. It won't go much beyond the edge of the wall. It's rather tough, I think, to do so and win that duel, but if they can at least clear corners, it gives them some confidence to rotate, which is what they've done, at least one player. Schneider makes contact. It's more important that Dennis actually got through towards Speedway and cut them off on rotation, shall we say. It's Apex. Get Schneider twists. We'll take down Apex. In response, gives around to G2, or excuse me, to GODSENT. Do you remember when the useless pit was inside of spawn in Inferno, like 1.6?
The useless. Oh, is it like a ramp that goes down?
Yeah, into nowhere. Yeah. I just thought of that for some strange reason.
Not there. The other side. Down there. Yeah. I guess if you go through Arch and hold off rotations from CD spawn, it was something. Either way, we'll get into it, shall we? It's going to be round number 4, the first gun round, and the orbs out on either side. Schneider, interesting enough, one of the orb on the T side here, and Kenny S, of course, on the CT side, raring to go. They will sometimes opt for the double orb setup on the CD side, not so much as they used to. It was them that really brought it to the forefront, but started to get shut down after a while, and they just went back to single orb setup. It's actually MBK who's the secondary orb for this team now. It used to be Shoxy, but they went against that. Looked amazing in Epicenter, then playoffs not so much. Lost to Virtus Pro in what was a very epic match, I have to say. Virtus Pro coming out on top with Pasha delivering the goods. That was absolutely fantastic to watch. But in every way, G2 with disappointing 3rd place. I guess getting 3rd is still very good in a tournament like that, but they were looking destined for the title.
Yep, I would agree. And it is. Yeah, I mean, it was awesome to watch Virtus Pro's resurgence, but yeah, there's. It's the fact that we've got such a revolving door for wins at the top of the circuit means that inevitably there's going to be droughts for some other very, very serious contenders. It's already so hard to win at one event, let alone multiple.
And Virtus Pro crashing out the Renegades just for now as well. That's kind of nuts, wasn't it?
Yeah, NAF playing unbelievable. But, yeah, I mean, Virtus Pro, it's still an anomaly. I think we have to see what they're made of as we get into the next major, and then we'll see from there. But Dennis does have a great round in his hands because Guns Up takes down 2 quick kills. Bomb planted. It's MBK to 1 versus 3. As he gets toward Library with the A1S. Might be about as far as he goes, I think, in this round, even though he has a kit and I think a smoke. No, Molotov, excuse me, incendiary.
Well, they have planted, of course, and not really much he can do about this particular one. He'll be there in the library, and it's 4 rounds in a row now for GODSENT. They really are starting to wake up. They were looking quite flat in the first half, 11-4. As we saw the odds at half-time, GODSENT could go for the full reverse sweep here. Another eco for G2 is going to be 5-0 here, presumably. And G2 will take a tactical timeout just to calm down a little bit. Still comfortable, but that scoreline certainly shrinking. And you can see the Dennis replay here. At one point, considered one of the best talents in CSGO when he joined the Fnatic lineup. They won, what, 6 tournaments straight in a row. And started with December 2015, and then every tournament they went to was just completely nuts. But then they had their drop-off, and the old team fell apart.
Did.
Tried to mix things up. It was a bit of a nightmare between like Fnatic and GODSENT, the amount of transfers they had and mixing things up. Like, it was difficult to keep track of. But it seems like Fnatic are comfortable now.
I think you have to wonder one of the strains that went against GODSENT is that transfer was made the day of relegation matches when Virtus.pro was playing GODSENT for who would get a spot in Pro League for that particular season. Yeah. Virtus.pro ended up winning, even though the Legends all went. What happens if GODSENT makes it in and they get that entire season to gel as a team?
Not sure. These are the questions.
These are the... I'm building a time machine just for that. Forget everything else I've changed in my life.
That's what you do with your time machine.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I want to see what happened with GODSENT if they made it into Pro League in 2016. I want to know.
20. Yeah, it was 2016. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, indeed. Actually, no, it was second season of 2016.
What's that?
It was when we launched Drop the Bomb, which was sort of October-ish of last year. September of last year, what am I saying?
Well, there we go.
The more you know.
Number 5, and like we said, partial buy for G2. They have maximum loss bonus going into the next. So they can afford some CZ tilt. It's going to be deadly. You don't want to be counting your chickens before they hatch.
NBK with CZ75 in hand will wait with Shock's the same weaponry. They're losing the lead quickly to GODSENT, RG2. They've got to start roping it in. Chicken gets scared, decides he wants to run, but can't run into the fence. He'll go to the apartments and get away. Unfortunately, Freddy will not. He's lost his life to Apex long range 5-7. So some people still using that weapon. I still favor it personally, but that's just my stylistic decision. As the bomb goes down, it's 2 guns picked up. Apex with one of them has armor, but he might be best suited if he could get that to Shocks somehow. But fortunately, they're split up on different sides of the map as Apex makes his approach from CT. The other 2, they'll work in from Banana. Dennis could shut down immediately onto Kenny. He follows that up, but the gun is gone. Shocks finds one. It's onto the off for body, but can't get it out in time. Dennis will close the round. It goes 11-9.
They're doing it. GODSENT 5 in a row now. This would be such a heartbreaking loss for G2 to give up. The 11-4 lead. G2 couldn't hold it together in the pistol after finding the first 2 frags, and it's spiraled out of control since then. GODSENT, especially Dennis, looking amazing, I have to say. Like, especially some of those gun rounds. Key gun rounds at that. There's Twist as well, finding some decent form. Disco Doppelin, great in the pit. Towards the end of the CT half, managed to get them that 4th round. Could have been the difference maker here. Full gun run once again. Kenny S. This time a quad trying to bait in his teammate. That'll be body underneath the quad itself. Shoxy watching the apartments. Means that Arch is a little bit more vulnerable, but they just keep smoking it for now. No one's going to be that brave to walk through. You can see body just checking it every now and then to make sure no one's done that.
Schneider almost got... Ooh, he might get it back. Oh. The gap he was looking for, he ends up firing over top of, or rather underneath of a player that jumped over top of his bullet. That's why I said over top. I just had to clarify that.
Yeah.
Kenny holds toward the boiler doorway with his AWP. Bless you.
Thank you.
I was sitting there waiting to see how that would transpire.
Going to be some sort of a beast play here, but one that might not actually happen, as it's Freddy B that goes down. It's forced a rotation away from the B side. Apex, not sure if someone made it through CT spawn, and now that could be the time that works against him, but not dropping a smoke in CT spawn is going to cause the death of 3 players there as they finally commit towards B. G2 mop it up, and it was a surprise play from GODSENT there, trying to find that rotating player, actually take him down, maybe as the knife out and CT spawn coming back from the A side, but didn't really work out in that sort of manner. Apex with the perfect timing, his teammate dropping the incendiary as well. He's one of the better fraggers on G2 and does a great job of clearing the round up. It's going to be the first round in the second half for G2. 12-9 now, looking to close things out. Double AWP setup comes out. As I said, MBK is the secondary AWP now. We have got smokes at the very start of the round to push the CTs off. You can see they're deployed right now. It's interesting. The Terror is actually smoking that position. That's actually a common smoke for the CTs.
Good shot in from MBK. That doesn't quite do much for it, but back off. Free of charge. Not quite. Gonna have to spend some utility shocks. Just a bit of ammo, that's all he needs. He's got down Dennis and Schneider immediately on top of the balcony. That's going to give G2 a much-needed lead. At 12-9, they're trying to continue to build as Kenny will take down Freddy.
Yeah, by himself, didn't get much for that. Kenny S, pretty simple shot by his standards. It's a 4-on-2 now. GODSENT with Disco, Doppler and Twist making their way towards B. Luckily, only one player waiting for them, but it's MBK with the AWP. Objective, get 1 kill and deny the plan as long as possible. Can't quite do that, but they do dink each other in the process. Twist goes down to 12 HP, and then they got to take down MBK, which they do. Really nice shot from Twist, actually. And they have a chance to win this. 3 versus 2, make it 1 as Kenny S hits the shot. Bomb will be planted for Disco Doppler, but with 1 flashbang available and 3 CTs to find, his chances are very limited, to say the least.
Shot out G2. Shox wins against Disco, and pretty straightforward to get back into the site, even though they get the bomb plant down on the GODSENT side. Just to take a quick peek at it to remind everyone at home. FaZe Clan leads the way for the season right now. Points 43 at 14-7, 12-5 Fnatic's there with them. Big we just saw play against Envy, and Big are in a bit more trouble than Envy are, naturally, who won both of those games. They're actually 4 points clear of relegation position, whereas Big is stuck down there.
It's Na'Vi right at the bottom, though, isn't it?
Yeah, they're out immediately if they finish 14th, which is incredible.
Just signed Electronic, though. Maybe they can have a blinder a week and save it. Who knows?
Interestingly as well, LDLC, Envy, and G2, all 3 French teams, 6th, 7th, 8th on that order. It's G2, LDLC, Envy, actually, in that order. And it is the most amount of teams from one country in the league. I shouldn't say that. Sorry, Sweden has 3 as well.
Okay.
So does Denmark. I am all over the place.
Listen, good report.
That stat is irrelevant. Carry on.
It's going to be a difficult round if it got Dennis Schneider just with the pistol. He was the main AWP for most of these rounds. Twister seems to just be AWPing on the CT. I haven't been following this team for a couple of months now, so it's interesting to see how they're developing. Twist certainly the main AWP on the CT side, but it seems like Schneider is taking the majority of the AWPs on the T-side. Now Dennis having a go. Freddy B, lovely shot. Could get the double here. Former Epsilon player falls back towards the opponent. His teammates ready and waiting. It's MBK once again. He doesn't get more than 1 frag. He's not the main AWP for them. New box is such a difficult position. You get 1, right? And then you just like, how do you get the second? It's such a difficult shot now. There it is. And then Molotov's out. Molotov didn't actually get deployed, and Apex saves the day. That's so well played. He buys MBK a second bite of the cherry at least. He needs to hit this to stand a chance, and that's very well recovered. Good work by G2. It might not be enough, though. Dennis with the AWP does get 1 back. Bomb still down, and surely hits this shot. Can't do it. Both players tucked in the same cubbyhole, and they managed to come out on top. As we see 49 come in, and that was a difficult buy for GODSENT. In the previous round, even more so in number 9 here. 14-9 is the scoreline. His Apex recovering the round. The good flashbang there. They had no idea he would be coming in. 2 is enough. Bought MBK some more time. And indeed the round.
The round indeed. Indeed the round. 14-9. Look, 2 to go for G2. That's all they need. That's all they need. And there's pistols to try and deny one of those 2. Which is a problem. Fast peek. That could be a problem for Shox if he's not careful and isolating himself in the corner. But now he's made up for it, certainly, as Kenny finds 1 as well. I think this one's almost done already. Where's the swing? From bottom mid. There it is. Freddy still makes it interesting. Go for it, Freddy. Yeah, I dare you. Not going to happen with the knife. 1 to go.
Force put into that, I believe. So, yes, money will be pretty dire coming into potentially the last round here. They do get 3 AKs. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. So, We'll have a Galil up, 3 AKs, and a little bit of utility here. As the players hit 4 state loss bonus, so they must have kept themselves at about the 1k mark in the previous round. Will of course be all in for match points here. Molotov's in to stop Shoxy pushing that position once again. Body baited in by Quad. KNS watching the boiler position. Shoxy backing them up as well. It's interesting, a lot of teams don't actually put anyone in the apartments anymore. At least at the very start of this round, they wait for the default to come in. It's unlikely someone's going to rush apartments or walk all the way through. Body now to be baited in. KNS into one of these shots. It could be great. Shoxy to get the first, but he's in a horrible position now. It's KNS with the double, though. Make it 3. Good lord, that sounded absolutely fantastic. The collateral shot coming through. And now it's Dennis to try and hold it together. Nice shot to at least make this a possibility.
Oh, okay. Certainly a possibility. Finds a second kill as well. Kenny hits a collateral. Shazam, by the way, hit 4 of those at the NA minor in one event, but that was quite impressive that he was able to pop out and find the third one so easily. If he'd found Dennis, we'd be done. Dennis instead pulls it back from a 1 versus 3 to just play against NBK. He won't not commit to the plant. He's trying to let time work in his favor. There's 42 seconds, so lots of time for that to happen.
Let the mind games begin. Where is he going? No one knows. He'll hold the pit for now and hope that NBK makes the mistake and outplays himself, and that's starting to happen right now. He goes towards B, just hoping this works out, changes his mind. Back towards A. Now he won't even hear where the bomb gets planted.
I think he heard the smoke hit the Molotov.
Right, well, there you go.
So that would have made him turn.
There's no way, really, NBK can win this with the AWP. If he can upgrade to a rifle, then sure. This is too many angles to check.
Let's take the plant.
Like you can see, he's just struggling and floundering a little bit, so where could he possibly be? He drops the smoke to look towards the side. We've got to check absolutely everything here. Did he spot him? He does, okay.
Pull the op back. Oh, he's tagged him again, too. 23. 42s. Yeah, I thought he might go for it, but Dennis hasn't. Allow it. Good recovery. Look, Kenny did a phenomenal job to even put them in that situation, and Dennis saves the day, but it's not... It's not done. Hey, look, 10 rounds, they're there. They're within a shout, but there's lots of money left over still on the G2 side.
You say that?
Well, there's 87.50 for Shocks.
Yeah, I don't think they'll buy it, though.
They really, I'm impressed. Well done. Very disciplined from G2.
Yeah, why not? Might as well close it up properly. Don't let them back in. It's only 1 round you're giving away. That's fine. You can definitely buy the next round and have a full buy instead of a mishmash and then potentially completely wrecking yourself. So just you, not UMPs, 5.7s here and PT50s.
Freddy. Covers both directions off before entering. Back out to the ward at the top of middle. Kenny S has the 5.7. Good entrance. Schneider and Dennis finding the kills for the GODSENT side. Against the pistols, not really much, I think, to be argued if you're G2. And I get it. I commend them for being so disciplined. Typically in situations with such money, MBK does get 1 kill against Schneider. They would be all over the purchase. Feeling a little frugal tonight, are they?
Well, why not? Make sure. It's the end of the season. G2, one of the teams are like struggling to make it to the top 6 right now. So they want to guarantee victories here. So this is the way to do it.
So they are in the top 6 currently, with 20 matches played.
So yeah, it's very important they start. They've got teams like nipping at the heels right now, right? So you got like LDLC tied with points, MVS 1 point behind. So it definitely needs to just win every single game.
Yeah, Hellraiser's 2 points, Mouse Sports 2 points, GODSENT's only 3. So even giving 3 points right now to GODSENT puts them within 1.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, you can see how close it is. Any of them. Good shot. Shock's body as well. Sets it up. Apex starts to close it down. I was going to say every team except for Navi is pretty much in with an argument still, actually, if they were to win out, depending on the corresponding games played. However, Twist now finds himself in a very awkward 1 versus 4, and I think he thought about going to the AK-47, but I think he also realizes his chances are probably
cooked,
null and void with either gun.
Yeah, like not really much he can do at this point. He'll be smoked out. And have 4 players to find. He's just hoping they make mistakes at this point. But like we said, the frugal purchases and the money management from G2 suggests they won't be running around with a knives out trying to end this one quickly. I'll just wait for him to finally commit. They've got 2 players on the B side of the map. One in CD Spawn could go down. Depends how deep of an angle Twist decides to take here. Smoke CD Spawn at least buys himself a chance here. But gets spammed up through the smoke as Apex to finish things off there. And there it is. The 11-4 half converted to a victory. Got a little bit scary there in the second with the 5-0 start for the GODSENT side. They certainly showed us are coming here to play today. Like we said, they played against NIP just before coming into this game. And they managed to split the series there. So maybe they can do the same here. They're starting to come to life there in the second half. Definitely not done just yet. We will have another map coming up. And I guess that's all from us for the first map. It's going to be 16-11. We'll throw it over to the boys on the desk. We'll be back soon.